Okay then, question 16. So we've got a big meal here that we're going to. Mr. and Mrs. Ledger took their grandson Harry to Chick Diner. So here's the big menu for everything. Mr. Ledger started with soup. He had a steak and chips for his main course and an ice cream for desserts. Mrs. Ledger, she started with a prawn cocktail and a main course. So it had a prawn cocktail, main course of fish and chips. She did not have desserts. Harry didn't have a starter. He had a main course of fish and chips, and then he adds some ice cream for dessert. Mr. and Mrs. Ledger shared a bottle of red wine, and then they had some fruit juice. So we've got to work out how much it all cost, including the service charge. So let's start looking. This sounds like a big sum, doesn't it? We have to use our calculator. So Mr. Ledger started with soup. Where's soup here? Soup of the day. £3.50. Soup. £3.50. Then he had steak and chips. That is £12.25. Okay. Then he had his ice cream, and that is £2.80. Now, Miss Ledger started with the prawn cocktail. Prawn. That was £4.50. Add a fish and chips. Fish and chips. Fish. £7.85. She didn't have a dessert. Harry didn't have a starter. He had fish and chips. Same as his mum. £7.85. And ice cream for dessert. Ice cream. Same as the dad. £2.80. Mr. and Mrs. Ledger, they shared a bottle of red wine. So the red wine is £12.25. £12.25. Harry had a glass of fruit juice. So fruit, J, £2.10. And then there's also this service charge. We'll think about that in a minute. That 10% extra service charge. First, let's add all of this up. So get your calculator out. £3.50 plus £12.25 plus £2.80 plus £4.50 plus £7.85 plus another £7.85 plus £2.80 plus £12.25 plus £2.10. So altogether, this is costing them £55.90. Now, here we've got to add a 10% service charge. They add this on in restaurants quite a lot. It's just like staff and stuff, so they get an extra 10%. So we need to work out 10% of £55.90. So you can do this on your calculator. 10% is 10 out of 100. That's 10%. 10 out of 100. If you do 10 out of 100 times our amount here, that'll find us 10%, which is 10 over 100. It's a fraction button here somewhere. There we go. 10 over 100 times £55.90. That is £5.9. And you could have done the quick way as well. You could have just taken the point back that way. Once divided by 10. Okay, now we're adding this bit on. So this is a 10% service charge. We've got to add this onto our amount. So we've got a £55.90 plus £5.59. Add that up as well. That comes to £61.49 for the whole meal for everyone. So £61.49. Okay, now there's another part to this question over here. So it says, Chick has now increased all of its prices by 6%. Work out the new price of the fish and chips. So if we look back here, fish and chips cost £7.85. Now, if that's increasing by 6%, we can find 6% using the same method. So 6%, we can write that as a fraction, 6 out of 100. If we do that times the £7.85, that will find us 6% of £7.85. So 6 over 100 times 7.85 is 0.471 pounds. If we add this on to this, that'll get us the 6% interest increase. So we've got to do £7.85 plus 0.471 is £8.32.1. Now, we don't have 0.1s in this country. I'd round it back down, so I'd say £8.32 would be our answer. £8.32 for fish at the new price.